It has been really, really busy at the Capitol. We just finished our third week. We are in committee meetings right now, so we have committee and a little bit of floor time. We have had some bills on the floor. We have one more week of committee, and so we're doing the culling process, looking at funding issues. That's huge for Common Ed. Over the past 3 years, they've sustained cuts of a little over $200 million, excuse me. And so we're looking at filling those gaps and backfilling. Our schools are strapped. They have not bought textbooks. They have large class size where they haven't been able to hire the teacher workforce. So we're seriously looking at hopefully adding about $100 million back into Common Ed.
We want $75 to $100 million for common education. We had a press release. We did all those sorts of things. What we're trying to do is build up pressure for funding for Common Ed. We've been circulating a document in the Senate for other senators to sign. So we're trying to build up the appropriate amount of support such that the administration and the leadership in the Senate, and I don't want to give the impression that the leadership in the Senate is not also in favor, but nevertheless it's always very good if you say there's a 2/3 majority here on the Senate floor that supports this type of appropriation. And I'm optimistic that we are going to be successful.
We're discussing the tweaks that we want to do to A through F. That's been very controversial across the state. Our schools are concerned about their public image and the job they're doing. Anytime you put something like that in, and on paper, academically it looks great, but then when you put it in practice, you seem to have some problems. We have about 7 bills on tweaking the A through F. Anything from throwing it completely out to just minor tweaks. So we're going to look at all of them. We're concerned about how we're grading our special ed kids. Are we giving enough weight to the number of special ed kids we have in the system? We're concerned about things like the bonus points really being bonus, that if a school system finds themselves at a B, then their bonus should prop them up.
As always, I'm interested in the numbers. I'm an arithmetic kind of guy, and so we have been having discussions about the tax cut and how that might be processed through the Senate. We don't embrace a 0.25% cut without offsetting income through tax credits or however we're going to ameliorate the effects of that. The chair of the Senate Finance Committee is a senator by the name of Mazie, and I have been interacting with him as well as other senators to try to put together a plan whereby the reduction in taxes, if one occurs, that it is moderated by changes with respect to tax credits, etc. So what we're trying to do is to make it revenue neutral as much as possible.
I had a disappointing week in that first off, the governor's smoking initiative died in committee, and
On the Senate side.
we never got a chance to vote on it. And that was one of the things I support. Our health outcomes in the state are 48, 49. Cost us a lot of money. And it's one of the things, whenever you talk about local control, that was the actual local control bill would return that down to the municipalities.
The one thing that I have become convinced of is that our workers' comp is a disaster. Let's be straightforward. We're trying to take the lawyers out of it. The lawyers have been making a lot of money on this. It's the #1 priority of the Senate to go from a judicial system to an administrative system. The bill is actually just coming out.
I hope that we don't swing it so far that we either fail to have a workers' comp system except for name alone, or that workers who are genuinely injured on the job cannot be made whole, or at least partly whole. And the bill as written right now does not do that.